For decades, Gaza, it's been so much more than just a place on a map. It's really become this focal point for a profound, unyielding struggle. It's almost like a deep wound in the global consciousness.
And what started as, well, a localized dispute, that's long gone. Now it's more like a geopolitical earthquake. The shockwaves from this place, they ripple out across the world, defining alliances, fueling ideologies, and really testing the absolute limits of international diplomacy.
So to really get a handle on this complex story, we're going to walk through 5 key chapters. First, we'll dig into the historical roots. Then, we'll look at the modern cycle of violence, the immense human cost, how it ripples out globally, and finally, we'll try to peer into what is a very uncertain future.
All right, so to understand Gaza today, you really have to go back in time. We have to see where these deep fault lines first started to crack open, because in this part of the world, the past, well, it's never really past, is it?
This timeline, wow, it really charts a century of just massive seismic shifts. It all kicks off with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. That leads to the UN's partition plan in 47. Then comes 1948, a pivotal year, the creation of Israel, the war that followed, and what Palestinians call the Nakba, or the Catastrophe, their great exodus. Fast forward to 1967, the Six-Day War brings Israeli occupation to Gaza. And then, much more recently, 2007, Hamas takes control, which is what really triggers the blockade we see today. You see how each date is just another layer, hardening and building the foundations of the conflict we're watching unfold right now.
And all of that history, all that weight, it hasn't gone anywhere. It directly shapes the dynamics that are fueling the conflict right now in our time.
And really, since 2007, you can't tell the story of Gaza without talking about Hamas. When they took control, it just fundamentally changed the entire landscape. It led to this severe blockade and this brutal, repeating pattern of military confrontations. It's really blurred the lines. Are they a government, an armed resistance? And that confusion, that ambiguity, has created this incredibly new and volatile dynamic.
And this right here, this is the core of it all. You have these two powerful, deeply opposed stories at the heart of the cycle. From Israel's perspective, it's an existential question of national security. They see constant threats. But for many Palestinians, this is a story of resistance, a struggle against occupation, and a fight for the basic right of self-determination.
But okay, let's step back. Because behind all the geopolitics, this grand chess match, behind all the talk of security and resistance, there's a profound and just devastating human tragedy playing out every single day.
Just think about this number. 2.3 million people, all packed into one of the most densely populated places on the entire planet. And for those people, life under the blockade, it's created what you can only call a perpetual state of crisis. I mean, look at these numbers. This isn't just data on a chart. This is reality. A reality where finding a job is a distant dream, where the lights might come on for a few hours if you're lucky, and where finding clean water is a daily, exhausting struggle. So here's the crucial point. For the people actually living this day in and day out, it's this immense struggle, not just for survival, but for basic human dignity. And that is the reality that fuels so much of the desperation and the anger that we all see broadcast on our screens. And this human tragedy, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's not an isolated story. The tremors from this conflict, they're felt far, far beyond its borders, across the whole region, and really around the entire world. You've got this incredibly complex web of international players. You have regional powers like Iran who see Gaza as a key front in a much broader confrontation. Then you have neighbors like Egypt trying to play this delicate role of both mediator and security manager. And of course, global powers like the United States providing critical support that completely shapes the balance of power. It makes this a truly global issue.
And the conflict, it just ignites these passionate and often deeply divisive responses everywhere you look. It completely dominates debates at the UN. It brings millions of people out onto the streets in protest. And tragically, it fuels the flames of both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. It forces whole nations to try and navigate this incredibly treacherous diplomatic landscape. So, after a century of turmoil, with a conflict that is so deeply entrenched, you have to ask, what does the path forward even look like? Is there one?
Well, the proposed solutions seem more distant than ever, don't they? You have the two-state solution, that's been the official international goal for ages, but so many people now are questioning if it's even possible anymore. And then you have these alternative ideas, like a single state for everyone, but my gosh, those face their own enormous political mountains to climb.
And so the cycle just continues.
leaving the future of millions of people, and really the future of the entire region, just hanging in this incredibly fragile, precarious balance.
Because ultimately, this has always been about so much more than just land. It's a profound struggle for identity, for security, and for dignity. In many ways, it's become a test of our collective humanity and our political will to try and solve what seems unsolvable.
The search for an answer goes on, and it leaves us all with a critical question. What on earth will it take to finally break this endless, devastating cycle? The answer, if there even is one, remains one of humanity's most vital and maybe one of its most elusive aspirations.
At Geotectonics, our mission is to uncover these profound tectonic shifts, offering clarity in a world of complexity. If this analysis deepened your understanding, please like this video to support our work, share it with others who seek real insight, and subscribe to Geotectonics to ensure you never miss our next deep dive. We'll continue to explore the crucial geopolitical movements that define our time. Thank you for joining us.